everyone, Dave Penyuk of Revenue.com, and I'm going to be talking commercial real estate with you in a series of our commercial real estate investing videos, mostly talking about the differences between residential and commercial real estate, pros, cons, better, worse, more exciting, less exciting, all that fun stuff. So today's video is on the key cost differences, basically when you're acquiring commercial real estate, not necessarily ongoing costs, that we'll do that in another video, but in this one it's basically when you're going to acquire commercial real estate. And just to be clear, when I'm talking about commercial, I'm specifically talking about retail and office or light industrial type commercial real estate, not apartment buildings, because they are more like residential, single family type residential investing than this type of commercial real estate. So I just want to make that clear. Now, right off the bat, so commercial versus residential, a lot of the things are the same. Getting an appraisal, and usually you have to pay for that. Sometimes your bank will. Getting an inspection, a house inspection is very important, or getting a building inspection for commercial, generally have to do that. You have your various legal costs when you close on the property with your lawyer that will prepare the documents and the mortgage documents and all that. All that's basically the same. Everything's more expensive with commercial because it's a higher price point usually. But the key cost differences that we find when you're acquiring commercial versus residential is a phase one, potentially a phase one environmental report. And what a phase one environmental report is, just quickly, is the bank usually wants to find out, is there any issue with below the ground or around the site, the commercial site? Was there a gas station there before? A car repair shop above, like in higher ground, and maybe some oil and toxins leak down from the higher ground site into your site. Basically, it's usually the bank that wants to know, is that site clean from contamination? So if a phase one environmental report hasn't been done on the commercial building that you're looking to buy, usually your bank will require that you do one. And you might want to do one yourself anyways, even if you're buying it all cash, if you're so lucky to have so much cash to buy it. So phase one, you generally don't have to ever do with a residential. With commercial, you almost always have to. Generally, these can cost several thousands of dollars, anywhere from $1,000-$2,000 up to $5,000 and beyond. If the phase one comes back negative, as in, or I should say positive, in that there was some contamination, then a phase two has to be done, and that's much more expensive. I won't get into that. Often the seller will pay for that, but not always. But you're usually on the hook for the phase one. So that's something very different in acquiring commercial real estate than residential real estate. Commitment fee. So when you're borrowing funds for a commercial deal from a lender, usually you have to pay a commitment fee. So you're paying the bank, hey, I'm going to pay you a percentage of whatever I'm going to be borrowing, just for the right to basically, for you to do the work, to put everything together so we decide whether we're going to work together. You're going to lend me the money and I'm going to be able to acquire this property. Usually these are anywhere from about a quarter percentage up to about 1% of the loan value. In our case, in the deal that we did, we had to spend, I think it was about $5,200 or something. I can't remember what the percentage was, but it was about 0.75% or something of the loan amount. So about $5,800 just to be able to have the bank look at the deal and decide to go ahead. That comes out of your pocket. You have to pay for that. All the legal fees. This is another interesting one. When you are buying commercial property, not only do you pay your lawyer that prepares the documents and all that on your behalf, but you have to pay the bank's lawyers as well. It's a double whammy. In this case, I think it was about $6,500 we had to pay our lawyer plus disbursements. Then we had to pay the bank's lawyers about $5,500. Just again for the right to them put all these documents together that when we have to sign for 3 hours. So legal fees, big difference there between residential and commercial. And incorporating and shareholders agreement is another thing to be aware of. Generally, when you're buying a commercial building, you probably want to incorporate, have a corporation that potentially owns that commercial building. Maybe, maybe not. But in most cases, for accounting and tax purposes, you're going to want to incorporate. So that's going to cost you several thousand, well, $1,500 give or take. And then if you have several shareholders involved, you might want to have a shareholder agreement put in place that explains the rules and responsibilities of who's doing what as part of that corporation, and that can be another $1,500 to $2,500. Again, you're generally not going to do that with residential real estate investing. You can. We generally advise that people don't unless they have a whole bunch of properties, but that again is generally something that you have to be aware of, and aware of the costs when you're going into commercial real estate. So there's 4 main key differences, on top of the fact that when you're buying commercial real estate, everything is more expensive, although it could be relative. Like I say, I think we spent $3,000 on an appraisal for a $3 million property, whereas we usually spend about $300 on an appraisal of a $300,000 property. So if you bought 10, it'd be the same. So, but just be aware the costs are much greater. But these are the 4 main cost differences when you're acquiring commercial versus residential real estate. I'm Dave Penyuk of Revenue.com. Hope you enjoyed this video, and continue to watch the next series of commercial real estate to get you informed about whether it's right for you to invest in commercial over residential, or maybe invest in both. Till next time.